Hey guys, Dave Gass. This is a story I was just recalling. I was thinking how bad things were back in my teenage years or younger, whatever, when no money and just everything was a struggle. But this story is a good one. Now, this was 1986. I had mentioned before I had 21 jobs in that, I think it was the year before. 21 jobs. And but it was days, a week, I was trying to find myself, and my wife suggested go to auto body school because I love working on cars with my friends. And it was a great idea. After that, I was never broke again. But I'm talking down and out broke. I'm going to trade school from 8 to 2:30 every day, and I'm working third shift, buffing floors at a grocery store. So it was basically 11 to 7 at night in Massachusetts, buffing floors, drive to Rhode Island, go to trade school all day, work on cars, not see, we were dating. I wouldn't see my wife. I'd only see her one day a week. I think it was Saturday for that period of time. Now, right before she had suggested for me to go to trade school, thank God she did. Her mother got me a job at a shipyard. The worst job I ever had in my life. I'm talking, it was Coast Guard ships. Money was good, environment was brutal, brutal. And you would get, you'd work with some of the toughest monsters in that industry. And they'd follow the contracts. I think it was somewhere out in Washington, and then Virginia, and then Newport, Rhode Island area. The contracts would and these guys would move around. And a lot of these guys were ex-felons and just rough. Fights would break out every day. The shipyard had its own hospital and its own lawyer. They would settle claims right on the spot, and cuts would be by the inch and stuff like that. It was insane. It was totally insane. But my mother-in-law, who used to call me a loser all the time, she got me this job at this shipyard. I couldn't leave this job because then it would prove she was right. I'm a loser. And they gave me the worst job in the place, insulation. I did this for almost 6 months. Now you're talking out in the cold weather, wintertime, the ships, they were Coast Guard drug boats or something. There was like 3 on one side, 3 on the other side, and then a dock in the middle where there was the toilet and whatnot. It was brutal. And they gave me a job as an insulator. An insulator, you could be in the bottom of the boat. You don't know what time it is. You're working. It's your shift's over. You don't even know it. But for me, they would stick me in lagging. Lagging. You remember in the old days, well, some buildings, pipes. They had like a cast on them. The guy hated me, the foreman, because I was a joker. I was a wise ass, and I wouldn't take the guy serious. And he was miserable. He was going through something with his wife. And he used to drive from Connecticut to Newport. He was the most miserable person I ever worked for. And I just used to laugh at him. And I guess he didn't appreciate that. Anyways, lagging, I'd be outside. It'd be 20 degrees outside, whatever. You can't wear anything on your arms because you're dipping this stuff. It's full of glue. It's fiberglass. So you're putting the foam on the pipes, and you're dipping this stuff in a 5-gallon bucket of water. And then you're wrapping the pipes and you're cutting it. And the Coast Guard inspectors would come around and check your work. And you're outside in the freezing cold. So I'd have like a sweatshirt on with the sleeves rolled up and doing that all day. And the stuff's dripping down your neck and all that. It was brutal. I remember driving to work and just saying, God, if I'm going to die in the next month, just take me now. And I had no way out of this job. No way. I was trying to get into a different department. Wasn't happening. So now, I think back then, you needed like 6 months to get in the union, but you're paying the union dues already. This guy fired me I believe it's the only job I ever got fired from. This guy fired me with 1 day to go before I became a union member. Then he couldn't get rid of me. And I was so happy, and I let him know that. I could do a whole other video on that interaction. But picture, I'm working, it's miserable. All of a sudden, he walks up to me with these two Coast Guard police officers. It's what they have to do. And they escort you off the lot. And the guys, the Coast Guard guys, they knew me, and we were laughing, and they knew I wasn't going to destroy anything. It's basically a government thing where you can destroy stuff. There's a lot of stuff on these ships. And the guy who fired me, he was so proud. Oh, he was so proud. He got me 1 day before I was in the union, and I was so happy. Now, I go to trade school. I'm working all 11 to 7 at night, buffing floors, and I'm going to trade school during the days. Brutal schedule for 6 months. I had 1 month to go, and now in these schools, once you started learning what you were doing, which I caught on really fast, I was doing project cars. I did one for my mother-in-law that was incredible. I did a Supra for her, rust and paint and the whole bit. And my brother had an old Bronco, the original Broncos. And I mean, frame-off restoration, lifted it, raw. This thing came out, it was showroom when I was done. But I was trying to finish that vehicle before my school year ended. So what they did was, during the day you would go full-time. But if you took the night classes, they were short. But you had to go, instead of 6 months, I think it was 18 months. But I would go at night too, if I could. So I took the last month off of school, dead broke, left my job buffing floors, dead broke. I'm talking no money at all. Just I had enough money for gas, and with some help from my girlfriend, now my wife, to get to work and get to school. Just to get to school. And I had some gas hog, I think it was like a 70 Skylark or something, 8-cylinder. So I tell her, I gotta finish my brother's Bronco before I go into the auto body trade. I got a month to go. So I'm gonna go days and nights to the school and finish my brother's vehicle. And I was doing it for free. It was a gift for my brother. And well appreciated. So now I'm doing that, and I'm flat broke. No money. I'm living at home with my parents. I lived at home until we got married at 24. I paid room and board, and that month I couldn't. And now it's like a Saturday or something, and I'm worried I'm gonna have to ask my girlfriend for gas money to get to school for the next 2 weeks, I think it was. It was embarrassing. And she always did well. And she would help me in a heartbeat. My mother or whatever went and got the mail, and she says, "Oh, Dave, you got a letter from the shipyard," or something like that. And I was like, "What?" Oh, all right. I opened it. I thought it would just be junk. And it was all my back pay from the union for the 5 months, 3 weeks, and 4 days. If you didn't get in the union, you got your money back. And it was a good check. That was pennies from heaven, baby. Has that ever happened to you? When you're on, you don't even have a dollar, and something you never even thought of, just a blessing comes and gets you over the hump. And then after that, once I graduated, finished my brother's truck, that check got me through, and then I started my auto body career. I finished with a 98 average, top of my class, and jobs were easy to come by, but getting into the trade was hard. School and the real trade, totally different. But that's a story about pennies from heaven that you never saw coming, and from a place you never saw it coming from. I hope you hung on here, listen to this story. I've tried to zip through it. It was way more complicated than that, but hopefully that happened to you, or if you're in that situation, it does happen to you. Dave Gass out.